Is the Irregular at Magic High School finally going to address the near incestuous relationship between Miyuki and Tatsuya? What is up, y'all? It's your man, That Dude, bringing you guys another video. I am giving out subscriptions down below, so go click that button. I'd appreciate it. The Irregular at Magic High School Season 2, Episode 6. This episode gave us the typical slice of life storyline that we were bound to get at some point in time this season. It seems like every anime is almost obliged at some point in time to give you a slice of life episode. And I didn't hate this episode. I actually kind of liked it, or not more than kind of liked it. I quite liked it. We got a lot of cute scenes of girls giving guys chocolates. And of course, Tatsuya being Tatsuya got a lot of chocolates, got a lot of girls coming up to him, giving him chocolates and that kind of stuff. You know, being as cool as Tatsuya is. It was a lot of things you would expect, but not necessarily bad. There are a few things worth mentioning though. Firstly, was a really quick exchange between Tatsuya and Miyuki. So I don't know if a lot of people even noticed it, but it was a scene in which Tatsuya basically says that he can repay gifts when he's talking about the girls giving him chocolates, where he says he can repay gifts, but he cannot return what really matters. And I interpreted that scene as Tatsuya basically saying that I can repay someone giving me a gift, but the underlying emotions behind giving that gift, he can't return those emotions. Because of course Tatsuya is unable to feel strong emotions for anyone really besides his sister Miyuki. And that is something that I hadn't thought about in a while, because this is season 2 and season 1 was like 6 years ago. So it's been a long time since I had to think about the reason why Tatsuya is always so calm and stoic and collected. But he's that way because the guy really can't feel any other way. That is just how he is. He is unable to feel strong emotions for anyone besides his sister. That is just how he was. His family made him that way. You know, he wasn't born that way. He was made to be that way. And as much as I like Tatsuya's character, the underlying reasons behind why he is the way he is are depressing as fuck. It is actually something that I wish the show would bring up more often and make more a part of the actual story than what it is. It's like almost like a footnote. Whereas I think it should be something that's more prominent and more upfront about Tatsuya's character, that he can't feel anything for a reason, that he is so calm and cool, collected all the time for a reason. Whereas the show builds that up to be more of a kind of like a positive trait, where he's just like, look how cool he is, which I fully admit that I like his personality. I like the way he is. I like that he's so damn cool. But I do wish that the show would mention why he is that way more often than what it does, because really I had forgotten about, you know, the reason why his personality is the way it is, because it's something that you had to go back to the beginning of season 1 to really brush up on, or you can read the wiki. But you would think the show would mention that more often than it does, because it really doesn't mention it at all. The second thing really worth talking about from this episode is actually another really quick scene that I think can potentially lead to major developments in this show. And that scene is at the very end of the episode, after Miyuki is resting on the couch, after she has cooked dinner for Tatsuya, and she is a little tipsy from the brandy she used to make the chocolate sauce and that kind of stuff. So she's a little inebriated, and she basically laments the fact that her and Tatsuya are siblings because of the feelings that she has for Tatsuya. Now, like a lot of you guys, I am just as creeped out, and I think the near incestuous relationship that Tatsuya and Miyuki have is every bit as gross as a lot of other people think it is. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of that by any means, but it is undoubtedly a large part of the show. But this is the first time, at least I can remember, that one of the characters, you know, either Tatsuya or Miyuki, has basically admitted to them having relationships that, or feelings that go beyond the typical sibling relationship. And I really think that, because we see in the scene that Miyuki laments the fact that they're siblings, and immediately she kind of like snaps out of it and like regains her senses and is almost angry at herself for having admitted that she has these feelings. I think this is a really good chance for the show to maybe take a change from talking about or showing like their relationship in the fan servicey kind of way, and maybe trying to take a deeper look at their relationship and approaching it from a more serious perspective, and really giving us the hows and whys of why their relationship is the way it is. I think that could add some real depth to a show that is really lacking in depth. No, don't get me wrong, I love the Irregular at Magic High School as a show I really like. I said when this season 2 first started, it was one of the shows I was most looking forward to. But as someone who likes the show a lot, I can readily admit that there is not a lot of depth to the show. It is mostly some likable characters and some good action, and that's enough for me. But I would very much like for the show to maybe take a deeper look at Miyuki and Tatsuya's relationship. I think that could go a long way to making this show, take the show from being good to being like the next level. Because I think it's a pretty good season of anime. It's not going to be a classic. It's not going to be something that I'll be telling people about for years on end. But I think it's a decent show. And I think it can go from being a decent show or a good show to being not great, but whatever is between good and great. There has to be some kind of area in between there. And I think it can move up into that space if it takes the chance that it has to take a more serious and in-depth look at the relationship between Tatsuya and Miyuki, instead of treating it in the fan servicey way that we typically get, and is using it for like cringe scenes, because usually they use it for fan service and to get like a cringe reaction from the other characters in the show. Which I doubt they'll make this change, but at least they have the opportunity to make this something more than what it is currently. I actually really enjoyed this episode. I have always been a sucker for well done slice of life stories, and this episode pretty much accomplished the goal of showing that these characters are still kids that enjoy normal kid activities, like taking chocolates to your crush at school on Valentine's Day. You know, normal kid stuff that we kind of lose sight of with these characters because they're always, you know, fighting, using their magical abilities and all this other shit. But they're still kids, and it's nice to get a reminder every once in a while that, hey, they're kids and they enjoy doing regular kid shit. Also, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Angie and the Americans now that she has a new handler, and they seem to really be intensifying their efforts into monitoring Tatsuya, and I really want to see where they're going to go with Tatsuya, because Angie knows that she can't defeat Tatsuya one-on-one, so are they going to take a different route to, I don't know if their goal is even to like fight Tatsuya, but just exactly what are they going to try to like accomplish with him, because they want to make contact with Japan's new strategic class magician, and that's Tatsuya. So are they going to go about maybe making contact and try to like bring him over to their cause, whatever their cause happens to be? How are they going to use Angie in that? Because Angie is not as powerful as Tatsuya. She knows that now. Tatsuya knows that now. So what are her higher ups going to order her to do as far as that? They can't just say, hey, go take out Tatsuya. She's not strong enough. That's all I have for you in this one, guys. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up. Also hit me up in the comments. I respond to almost everything. If you didn't like the video, again, hit me up in the comments. We can talk about it. If you are so inclined, subscribe. I would appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.